Hello everyone and welcome back to Anime Villainous' Tournament Arc 2026. We have one semifinal match done and one semifinal match to go. Today it is going to be Dragonfly versus Divitae, whose name I am still having to struggle to make sure I pronounce correctly because everything in me wants to say Divitae every single time. But Dragonfly and Divitae are going up against each other. Whoever loses this match will be facing Oscape in the third place match, and whoever wins will be duking it out with D. Gessner in the finals for this year's first place title. Very, very exciting as we get to the end of the tournament this year. So let's get right into the match and see how it plays out. Okay, and here we go with Dragonfly versus Divitae. The second semifinal game is underway. You'll notice we have an extra spectator here at the top right with Oscape, who's finally told me it's Oscape, not Oscape, but I'm probably going to end up saying Oscape a lot because I'm used to it. But he said it's fine. But the other semifinalist, Oscape, is watching this to help us schedule a little bit quicker because D. Gessner is judge for it, and he's the other semifinalist. So they're all here to watch the second semifinal game. Very exciting. Who won that? That was Dragonfly. So Dragonfly gets to go first. He's going to be banning Diaboromon as the starting player. And then Divitae, are you going to ban Sebastian? Gonna ban Toguro! There was some talk. We had a little bit of time because D. Gessner was having computer issues. Hopefully he doesn't crash during this. But we had some talk about Dragonfly saying I think he's been target banned Sebastian like every single game or something like that. I think even in qualifiers, people were banning Sebastian on him. Is Divitae playing into it, though? Or are they picking a hard Sebastian counter, expecting Dragonfly to pick Sebastian? There's some mind games potentially going on right out the gate here. And it's going to be Crollo into Sebastian. I'm not sure that Crollo is really a good counter pick into Sebastian, to be honest. It's going to depend a lot on the early fates that Sebastian gets, because Crollo can definitely start to rinse Sebastian with fates a little bit in the mid game if he can be left alone enough in the early game to get some setup going. But the problem is that Sebastian going first here means that Dragonfly has a decent amount of an advantage. They accidentally started the clock before selecting the colors. I don't think we've seen that mistake in Tournament Arc yet. It's a fairly common one. When one of them went to grab the button to assign their color, they accidentally hit the button instead, is what happened there. I think the clock might be busted even. They might just want to pull in another one. No, they're going to try and fix it instead of doing the simple thing. This is what Butter would do, because Butter knows a lot about TTS. What are they doing? Just get another clock. They're up here, aren't they? Yeah, they're just up there. You put the thing on top of them. Semifinals, ladies and gentlemen. The semifinals. But yeah, I'm not sure that either of them really have a significant advantage here, because I would lean it a little more towards Sebastian, because when Crollo is trying to cinch out the game by getting enough people to hide out in the mid to late game, that's when Sebastian becomes most dangerous with Demonics and Demonic to uncover the top fate, and then like Yes My Lording from Central London into Houndsworth to open it and be able to go back to his bottom fate the next turn. So Sebastian has good fate pressure throughout the entire game. The weakness of Sebastian is that like well-timed fates like annihilate him. They like blow him away. We're going to see an early Silverware. You're not going to move CL over to Central London? I definitely would. We're going to see Killua onto Underground Auction immediately. And then that'll be his turn. The timing of Ronald... Oh, are we having an issue where Divitae can't see Silverware? He can't see cards? Yeah, he probably has to disconnect and reconnect really quickly because he's unable. This is a very common TTS glitch. I'm surprised we haven't had this happen in Tournament Arc yet, to my knowledge. But when this happens, you just need to leave and reconnect, and then you'll be able to see everything. So he's just going to DC real quick and reconnect. I'll keep talking through this because it shouldn't take long for him to get back. But this is a decent start for Dragonfly. I'm surprised he's not moving CL over to Central London. You want CL to be at Funeral Parlor or You want him to be anywhere other than Phantom Hive Manor, really. So there's really no point in not moving him to Central London immediately, because then, if especially with Silverware out, if Angela or if a 4-strengther showed up, he has Silverware for the 4-strengthers now, but if a 3 to 4-strengther showed up at Central London, then that meant CL being there would be able to clash them, and with Silverware out, especially if Angela goes to Central London, that's a free kill. Well, a kill at the cost of Silverware, but still. And then you have the move action to get CL to Funeral Parlor, because Funeral Parlor is where you really want CL. It's nice to have him. You want him there for when the ring is at Central London to gain 3. You want him at the double play, so you can play Delicious into playing a card like the ring or Demonic or what have you. But, a lot of how this matchup go... Oh, he is going to move CL. His turn wasn't over yet. I thought he had already clicked his turn over when they had done that. No, move. What are you thinking about? There's literally no tactical disadvantage to moving CL to Central London. You want him at Funeral Parlor, like, ASAP. And what benefit do you get from him being at Phantom Hive Manor? We're going to see an early Finks here, which is very, very good for Divitae. Finks is a very good card in general, but especially early game. And then huge discard, little too early for Phaeton. Ooh, do it again in cinematic. That's very unfortunate. I just do nothing there. That's a very unfortunate dead fate. Turn 1. A cinematic is out of... No fate play at all here, and a cinematic is out of play. And then we're going to see the very early cleaning up here, which is guaranteed. I don't think there's any way that Krollo can open this immediately. But that's not really a big deal, because cleaning up is basically a freebie in general. You never really stop Sebastian from getting cleaning up. You can only ever really stop Sebastian from getting the other ones. We're going to see a York New City turn here to draw from Finks again. Really wants to see an early Coluto here to deal with Kill. And there's Coluto right there. And then moving Finks into the immediate Vanquish, actually. Interesting. Did you have Coluto in hand before triggering Finks there? I might have gone to Underground and done the move Clash play Coluto. So we're going to see cleaning up trigger, which means cleaning up gets removed from the game. Oh, it's at the end of turn, right? Immediate Silva is very unlucky for Divitae here. Not getting a hero on that very first fate could legitimately cost Divitae the entire game in terms of the snowball effect that's going to be happening here. We're going to see Requiem out. An early Requiem could go a long way in helping Divitae kind of bring this back a little bit. And CL already has a token, but again, it's cleaning up, so it doesn't even really matter. No, you play Grell Definian here. Even if it means Grell dies. And this is fine, but I think getting pieces off the board and costing play a card actions, like making Dragonfly take a turn where he just fate discards and gets rid of Grell, is probably better. Is going to end up moving CL, which, I mean, moving Finian or CL here is pointless if Central London is open, because the move action will just immediately rectify it. Doesn't really accomplish anything. We are going to see another fate over here. Okay, a Gone with no target is not too bad for Divitae. It's going straight on Outskirts. York New, really? I would definitely go ahead and cover Outskirts. I would even cover Hideout over York New here, to be honest. He's doing it himself. Getting CL all the way back over to Houndsworth and then moving CL into Funeral Parlor. What are we going to see from Divitae here? Could have a good hideout turn. Did a lot of drawing with Finks. Throwing out any scheme is good here just to get Requiem underway. We are going to see Hisoka. Probably going to take back Coluto, indeed. And then immediate Coluto play. Immediate Coluto play. Weaken down Silva. Could see an Underground Auction Bloodbath turn. It wouldn't be very strong. Well, actually, it would still be pretty strong. It would get you that top fate. It would kill Silva for free. You use Krollo's ability on Coluto and then Clash, or not Clash, Bloodbath kill Silva and then move Coluto over to Gone to get ready to kill Gone. Hatred is still in the Fate deck, though. We're going to see a Funeral Parlor turn from Dragonfly here. There hasn't been any Sebastian in Tournament Arc yet, has there? I'm definitely going to be using that for a thumbnail. I don't think we've seen a single Sebastian yet. We've seen some Sebastian bans for sure. Was that just gain 3 and heavy discard? Interesting. Gonna see an outskirts turn here, not the underground auction turn I was thinking it could be. He is gonna bloodbath just to have Hisoka kill Gone. I don't know that I like that. I feel like that's a pretty bad use of blood. I think he would have been better off going to underground auction, doing the bloodbath to get the fate, move Kaluto to Gone. Personally, Ronald and Angela together is unfortunate, but you definitely play Angela onto Central London here. And then given this layout, you probably want to, if you see cinematic records, you want to put a fate that you like more than cinematic records next, and then have cinematic records after, assuming you're expecting to be able to kill Silva here. Well, another fate is coming in, though, so you probably, maybe you do just want cinematic records next, because even if it's not a good time for Ronald to, like, get the fate lock with the cinematic records, actually, now that I'm looking at this, it might have actually been better to play Ronald here to move Sebastian to Central London just to get yourself a little more breathing room, or to force a demonic if a fate was going to happen, because a demonic here would be bad. Why would you put Kropika there? This is definitely go to underground auction, weaken Kropika, clash Silva. Oh, well, actually, if you have some really good card plays, maybe not. Gonna be a Greed Island. I don't know. Greed, activate Kaluto, Greed Island, move Greed Island, put useful card in hand, clash Silva. I guess delaying it in case of the, Franklin turn, though, makes it pretty, into Scarlet Eyes. Yeah, that's pretty fair. Yeah, this was still a really strong turn. That's fair enough. The thing is you've got a little bit of fate momentum right now, so if I were Divitae, I would be hard focusing on opening underground auction, so that you could keep that fate pressure up, because Ring still isn't out, Pocket Watch isn't out, cleaning up basically doesn't matter as far as contract tokens go. Again, that's basically a freebie for Sebastian. He either gets it really early in the game or he gets it really late in the game, but he always gets it easily. So, because all it takes is having a clear board and then like having demonic. It's very, very easy to set cleaning up. It's not literally free. It takes the card play. You have to make sure there's no hero on board. You have to have demonic or like a well-placed yes, my lord, if the opponent gets a chance to fate you before it triggers, but it's so easy compared to the other 4 that getting an early cleaning up to me isn't really anything to worry about. This does make a strong outskirts turn next turn, so I do respect it. I'm not sure which is better, to be honest. I think they're probably about equal. I would have liked going and weakening Kropika and throwing out Greed Island to grab something worthwhile and then clashing Silva, but this is also good. We're going to see the... I'll do it myself to bring Angela to 4, then Vanquish with Finian, who's at 4 because of CL, and then move CL back. Interesting. Probably a play a card here. You're not really hurting for power very much. And we are going to get Spider's Head out. Okay. It's going to be a Cortopi. Who are you attaching here? The eyes? The eyes. And this could be a pretty good underground auction turn on this next one. It is going to be a multi-fate. And it will be Joker, which is going to replay William. And yeah, I would move CL to Phantom Hive and then cover that Central London. And I believe, yeah, William loses the -1 as well, even though that's very unlikely to make a difference. There's a very good pull there for Divitae. Very good Angela setup. Divitae has turned this around pretty well, despite it going fairly in Sebastian's favor out the gate. And Sebastian has a lot of 2-cost cards to play. He still has to play the Ring, he has to play Pocket Watch. I think like all of his allies cost 2, and he's going to want to be throwing out Mayrin and the dog. Spider's Head is actually pretty good into this matchup. I didn't consider that when I was thinking about stuff earlier. We are going to see the Dark Influence here. This is going to be a little rough. So like this is a guaranteed Dark Influence, but it also means that Dragonfly is going to not fate this turn and have to not fate the following turn. So this is 2 turns that Divitae knows that he gets uncontested. And Dark Influence is a bit harder to get, but it is also pretty easy. This is why I wanted Divitae to do the more aggressive plays earlier to try and uncover Underground Auction, because Fate Locks matter so much to Sebastian, that as long as Sebastian can keep this top Fate lock down, he can very easily sneak out this game from under Divitae. We are going to see Banalanov played and Shizuku played, both of their abilities targeting Banalanov. And then with 8 power, you can't afford to play a card here. It's going to be Delicious Soul, actually, probably to grab the ring. Very unlucky Delicious Soul and ring positioning for Dragonfly this game. Back over here, Shizuku, presumably. Or Franklin. Yeah, play a card here might actually be worth more, to be honest. Ah, there's the Illumi. And it is going to go on Kurapika. What else are we going to see here? Ooh, Shalnark. Into another play a card? Into Shizuku, actually. You probably move Greed Island. Do you move Cortopi back to you with Shizuku here? Huh. I would have moved... This is Silva out right here. I would have moved Shalnark, Shizuku, or Greed Island before I moved Cortopi away. If you're not uncovering this top fate, you need to be rushing objective really hard. We are going to see a cinematic on Ronald here, which is fantastic for Divitae. Putting him at the one place that covers more actions but doesn't die to CL immediately. It's going to be a very interesting game. The fact that Dragonfly got Phantom Hive Ring so late might cost him this game, to be honest. Ah, Demonic Uncover here. Oh, no, Phantom Hive Ring. Why would you go here to Phantom Hive Ring instead of Phantom Hive Manor? You just get one more power if you go to Phantom Hive Manor instead. Oh, he has, that's right. He still has Silverware, so I guess he's doing it just to clash William. Fair enough. It doesn't matter who he kills first between Ronald and William, because both Cinematics and Joker are all out. Spider's Head is going to move Shizuku, and then you could throw out Stolen Ability here, but I'd probably throw right back out Spider's Head, because you really need to push your objective here. It's going to be Binding Loyalty, actually. You really need to push your objective, or you really need to open Underground Auction, because this is looking pretty good for Crollo, but Phantom Hive Ring is out, the Top Fate is open, Demonic and Pocket Watch are on the way. Sebastian is about to hit his stride, and he already got Dark Influence, and he doesn't have to use up a turn for cleaning up, because cleaning up will usually take a turn is what it mainly costs you. We're going to see Kaluto on Kurapika here, indeed we are. Honestly, Shalnark Cortopi attach Franklin I wouldn't dislike here either. Can use the move action on Shizuku. Not going to use the move action on Shalnark here? To Shalnark over a Greed Island and then do like a Vanquish on Silver, a Lumi play? Oh, we're going to see paying 2 for the Bloodbath to get rid of Silva. Fair enough. What are you doing with Shalnark? Oh, did the kill with Banalanov. I see what happened there. And then clashes Kurapika. All right, I feel a lot better now that Divitae has taken the time to open Underground Auction. There is still a Hatred in here, and Gone is a target. Dragonfly's figuring out what those last 3 cards are. I think it's the Power Loss hero. I think his name is Henry. It's the Power Loss one, and then it's the Baron Klein or whatever that moves CL to him, and then probably another copy of Do It Again. I know we saw Madame Red and Soul Starved both passed. I think we've seen both. Oh, have we seen Drossel? Drossel might be in there, actually. Now, there is Hatred. You probably play Gone to Outskirts and kill Shalnark. Well, actually, you probably play Silva to kill Shalnark. I don't really like killing Franklin here. He's low on power anyway. Crollo doesn't really have 0-cost cards. Leaving Shalnark out when he's in a position to rush, I'm not a fan of. We are going to see Demonic via Phantom Hive Ring to immediately kill Joker and then move CL over. Playing Pocket Watch first and moving it. I don't like Pocket Watch being there. That makes me want to throw up. We're going to see Cortopi, and it is going to attach Greed Island. Melody is gone now, so there's no worry about that. Hatred is gone as well, so we're not going to see. I think Justice. No, Justice went early, didn't it? I don't remember. Is there any ally discarder left in here? Gone and Silva and Hatred are all past. So kind of surprised you wouldn't just throw out Stolen Ability here unless you really have a better 1-cost card play. There's Henry taking away that 1 power and covering the top fate. Now is definitely the time to try and... Did you already play? Did I miss a card play? Did you not play a card? You better have played a card. Otherwise, why'd you discard Stolen Ability? There's no reason not to have used Stolen Ability there. The late timing on Phantom Hive Ring has really screwed Dragonfly over in this game. He's checking what this last fate is. I think it's either Drossel or Baron Klein. I think his name is Baron Klein. I think that's who it has to be, but I could be wrong. I can never remember. Are there 2 or 3 do-it-agains? I think there's 3. I know we saw Soul Starved. We are going to see the Yes My Lord to kill Ronald, unfortunately, just in time for the reshuffle. But honestly, you're better off killing him here before the reshuffle, because if you kill him after the reshuffle, then both cinematic records are on. This way you can at least hope he reshuffles low and the cinematics reshuffle high. This is probably a hideout turn. Go trigger Shizuku, move over Shalnark or something. Actually going to go over here and trigger Illumi. Uvigan turn? Yeah, it's pretty good then. Oh, I think Rogue Limb is still in play, though. I don't think we've seen Rogue Limb yet, but that means Rogue Limb has to target Uvigan instead of literally anyone else, so. Central London, Rogue Limb, immediate Rogue Limb. With Justice is unfortunate, but yeah, you basically have to target Uvigan here. Definitely think an Outskirts turn attached like Kaluto or Shalnark could go really hard here. I don't know what these last fate cards are. I think there's at least 1 Judgment Chain. Is it Judgment Chain double Crush the Spider? Have we seen a Crush the Spider yet? If we see another double Crush the Spider in this tournament, I'm going to lose my mind. I think we saw double Crush the Spider like once in testing against Krollo. I've seen it like 3 times in this tournament. We are going to see the Demonic thrown out. Not using it immediately, just holding it in case someone stronger comes out. Attaching Shalnark, very good. Now you're running the risk again of not having the top fate open, which is always dangerous against Sebastian. Now we're going to see the full fate here. It was Drossel was the last one. Yeah, so Drossel on the top fate and then just put CL at the Phantom Hive Ring. No, you still put CL at Phantom Hive Ring here, I think. You threaten being able to fade again next turn and mess them up. It does give them the easy, like, move back into Pocket Watch to get it back into place. Yeah, it might be better to leave CL there. What else have we got here? We're going to see Machi thrown out, giving both Machi and Kaluto +1. 1, 2, 3, 4. Technically 5 because of Shizuku. Technically 5 at hideout right now. I feel like they'd be a lot closer if they had moved Cortopi or someone else towards York New that one turn. We are going to see Phantom Hive Manor this turn. That was a Phaeton discard as well. Phaeton is kind of what you want right now. Moving over Phantom Hive Ring to the Manor to gain 3 from Funeral Parlor. Not something I'm a huge fan of. Throwing down Pluto. Then ending your turn. Okay. Replaying Kaluto to just clash Uvigan and get a move action here. Good call. Oh, doing, I don't know about that. I don't think you need the Fate here that badly. I don't think you really need the Fate here. I would be way more focused. I wouldn't want to take Shalnark off of me. I would want to keep moving stuff. And then moving Illumi so there's no one at York New. I don't like that play. William onto Central London, and then you move CL to Houndsworth. I guess you could move... There's no point in moving Pluto anywhere, words. Yeah, move them all the way over to Phantom Hive. You know, I wasn't thinking about the fact that the ring was moved to Phantom Hive for some reason, so that probably is the better play, actually. About to sneeze. I'm sorry I couldn't reach my mute in time. I apologize. I was thinking Phantom Hive ring was still at Central London, so, like, moving CL to Phantom Hive wouldn't really do much. But with Phantom Hive ring there, it's actually a really good play. But Demonic is going to be able to clear it up a little bit with the quick William move, and then you move Phantom Hive ring over. Then we're going to see a Fate. Double Crush the Spider. I cannot believe how many times we've seen that Fate in this tournament. That's insane. That is crazy. Going to see a Morning Tea play to get CL back into position and trigger Pocket Watch. That was another thing I was thinking of. You know what actually confused me? I play a good bit of Sebastian. I saw an item over here at the left, and I just assumed it was Morning Tea. But it was actually Phantom Hive ring. But Dragonfly has a much better position again here. What are you doing? Hello? Yeah, okay, still redid it. Thought so. Much stronger position for Dragonfly now. He's going to be able to get a really big power gain on Funeral Parlor and then potentially set up Party. 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, you definitely go to Outskirts here just to use Cortopi to reattach Shalnark, if anything. No, going to Hideout. Use Shizuku? Debating using Greed Island. I'm going to use Greed Island instead. You can't grab from the discard pile with Greed Island. You need to shuffle your deck after using... Okay, yeah, thank you, D. Gessner. I really didn't... I feel like Divitae would be way closer to winning if they had not dropped Shalnark when they did. Because they had a lead on Dragonfly, and I feel like they may have focused their Fate timing a little poorly to try and keep Sebastian down when he was already having a bad game instead of focusing their own objective. Okay, getting Franklin back via Hisoka here. Doesn't have the... Oh, we're going to see a Phantom Troop here. Interesting. Just going to Greed Island another card. And then Illumi has no target. Shizuku will get a move over. Probably move Shalnark. I would move Shalnark here. You gain 2 from Eyes. And then I wouldn't move Hisoka. I'd move Shalnark. Or at least move Kaluto or Machi. I guess they could be thinking like just leaving these for Cortopi food to be able to attach via Cortopi, but this is definitely looking like Divitae's game. The late Phantom Hive ring and some poor Fate timing for Dragonfly has tilted this in Krolo's favor here. Faustian Bargain? Faustian Bargain. Strict Discipline makes sense. Strict Discipline is your easiest win here since you didn't pick up Pluto here. I'm actually a little worried about putting Strict Discipline back in this way. I don't understand why you're putting in Faustian Bargain. Yeah, now you have Mayrin here. You don't want to draw Faustian Bargain here. You want to draw the card that will let you get your last token. I don't think he's going to be able to pull this off, though. I would use Shalnark here to no-target Cortopi, and then move Cortopi or... No, I'd move Shalnark, and then move Shalnark to Yorknew. Like, you have such an advantage here, and it looks like Dragonfly is giving up getting his top fate back to try and just get Strict Discipline to eke out a win instead. I would absolutely focus on nothing else but getting 8 people over to Hideout above all else. And the fastest way to do that would be to Shalnark Cortopi, move Shalnark to Yorknew, so you can go to Yorknew next turn, Shalnark Cortopi, grab Machi, move someone in. Double cinematic records here is not going to do a lot. Especially now that, whatchamacallit is all set up. How much? Pluto is here, so that's 3, 6. Mayrin will be 3 when Sebastian moves back to her. So that's 9 strength. Sebastian makes 11 with CL. Sebastian will make 13. So even without another ally play, this is enough for strict discipline. Now CL has to get back into position for it, potentially. Honestly, if you're going to move someone out here, I would probably move Mayrin to Phantom Hive Manor. It would make it a lot harder to do the thing. Because honestly, just like playing Demonic or playing a Silverware means that CL isn't even needed at Funeral Parlor. Or just playing Baldroy, who we saw got put back in. Be really good if he drew Strict Discipline here. I don't remember what this fate is, but I don't think it's good. I think we saw Neon. I think it's a Judgment Chain. Which wouldn't be, like, the worst, but it's not worth multi-fating. That's for darn sure. Oh, it was Zeno, actually. We did already see all the Judgment Chains. Well, Zeno on the top fate locks it down pretty effectively, which means if he goes to Outskirts this next turn, you know he's fate locked after that. There's really nothing better to do than put him at the top fate, really. I mean, you could put him at Outskirts, but he doesn't really need to play a card at Outskirts, to be honest. Very unfortunate that he got the double Spider the turn earlier and didn't get Zeno. That's a big difference maker. Yeah, discarding Faustian Bargain. Why did you put that in your... Why did you put that in your deck? In what world were you going to be playing Faustian? I gotta calm down. I get really backseaty with, like, Orochimaru and Sebastian. We're finally going to see a Cortopi used to attach someone, and it's still not going to be Shalnark. That's 7 over there. Needs one more. Spider Limbs. Spider Limbs. I would have attached Cortopi here in case of a Judgment Chain potentially coming out, but this is double locked, so... I think this is probably going to be... It's definitely not going to be game because Krollo has to go to Zeno to clash him, but it's going to set up game. Did get Grell. Grell onto Pluto here is pretty great. You could also play Angela because Angela is annoying, but honestly, I would play Grell on Pluto. I think if you play Grell on Pluto, there's no shot that Dragonfly recovers this fast enough. Is just gonna hard stack the top fate. This is also fair. You probably still win either way. I don't think it really matters which one you do. I think this game is pretty much over. I don't think that a Delicious Soul or a Phantom Hive Ring was gotten by Dragonfly until like the bottom 10-ish cards. I think it might have been 11 cards exactly at the time. And that's really killer for Sebastian. He has 4 cards that say you can play Phantom Hive Ring soon, and he didn't draw any of them in his top 20 cards. It's very unlucky. And he set up all of his allies at Funeral Parlor instead of Central London, which means he doesn't have, he can't, like, go play... He can't afford to go play, to go play the card, Strict Discipline, because if he goes and plays Strict Discipline, he can't go to Central London next turn. Yeah, I think this game is over, unfortunately, for Dragonfly. I still stand by what I said about some of these Krollo plays, though. I think that Divitae could have won maybe, like, 2 or 3 turns ago if he had played just a little bit more aggressive. But also, I understand being very cautious against play against Sebastian, because Sebastian can do some crazy stuff out of nowhere. But seeing Sebastian get such a late Phantom Hive Ring in Pocket Watch, I would have been blitzing, brother. I would have been. Especially when once Gon got replayed by Hatred, and there was no Hatred, no Silva, no Gon, no Killua, no Kurapika. All of the heavy fates were front-loaded, so... Divitae definitely had the advantage to rush this end game, and then Dragonfly just couldn't recover it very well. I say like the game is over. The game isn't over yet, but very nearly. I think, honestly, Dragonfly's best play, assuming he has Strict Discipline in hand, is to go to Phantom Hive Manor, If he has an ally to play to... Well, no, he can't do a play a card. Go to Phantom Hive, play Strict Discipline, and move CL into place, and then get into Showdown next turn. Divitae still wins in that situation, but I don't think he has anything better. I don't think he has anything better anyway. Because he's already done his 2 easy. Dark Influence and Cleaning Up are the 2 easiest ones, Cleaning Up especially. So all of the contract tokens he has left are difficult to do. And there's no shot that a Crollo in this board state is going to let him get away with any of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, this is 8. He just goes to Hideout next turn. He's got Hisoka and Greed Island, which means he's guaranteed to have Phantom Troop under any situation. We are going to see Phantom Hive Manor. Are you just going to set up getting into Showdown yourself? It's really the best you can do. Set up the Strict Discipline at Funeral Parlor. Go there next turn. Delicious Soul CL into Showdown. Oh, no, it's end of turn, actually, so you won't even be able to get into Showdown. I always forget that the whatchamacallits are end of turn. It's because the way I think when I play one of them, I think to myself, will I get it in this next turn? Because this is a Fate Lock, so if I get it, then I just assume, like, yeah, I've already got it. We're going to see a Baldroy play into killing Drossel. But still not going to be able to enter Showdown because has to wait the turn to end for Strict Discipline before being able to discard CL. That does trigger Binding Loyalty, which doesn't matter. Divitae cannot win this turn because Divitae has to go to Underground Auction to kill Zeno. And Divitae has to go to Hideout to play Phantom Troop. So there's one more turn for both players minimum in the game. There is a very, very small world. We're going to see Stolen Ability in Uvigan here. Stolen Ability to replace the Scheme via Requiem, and then the Scheme Binding Loyalty giving Uvigan. Oh, you just misclicked. Rewind time real fast. Misclick on the clock ruins the timer. I think the only way to fix that is to rewind time, so I clicked it really fast before they could debate what to do instead. Yeah, and then it should be Divitae's turn, shouldn't it? Oh, he had to draw again. I see what happened. Okay, they sorted it. We're not close to time. It's fine if these clocks are a little off. This game is over. It's impossible for Dragonfly to Fate here. So, Divitae literally just plays Phantom Troop. Yeah, Greed Island ability Phantom Troop, gain 3, play Phantom Troop, Illumi puts -1 on Zeno. You shouldn't even resolve any of these other cards. You should just Illumi Zeno -1 and then end your turn. There's no point in playing through this. Because you literally, unless I'm really forgetting something, you cannot kill Zeno without going to Underground Auction. And Kaluto is there anyway, so whatever. But it looks like Divitae is going to play it out anyway. That is their right. It's not like we started late today and we have potentially 2 more games to go or anything. Whatever. Oh, I forgot to promote everyone. Whoops. That's what happens when we started like 30 minutes late. Why did I promote Oscape? He doesn't need promoted. He does not need promoted. Whoops. Definitely forgot that part. My bad. We had like a 30-minute delay today because of technical issues. Threw off everyone's groove. Anyways, we're going to see Divitae just play out this entire turn. Despite how little it matters. Please don't tell me that you're playing Machi last and putting a +1 on every single one of these cards. I'll actually kind of lose my mind a little bit. What are you doing? The Sebastian is Fate Locked! The Sebastian is Fate Locked! What are we doing? What are we doing here? It's literally game over. If you're gonna play out the turn, But did you already play Machi and then attach her somehow? What was it, like a Shizuku Cortopi? Like, no, Cortopi isn't there. How is... No, now you're putting the +1s on everyone. Why? Why? This is also a bad play. What if he could Fate and then you gave him a 5 strength Hisoka? I guess it doesn't matter because of how many allies are here anyway, but why did you play out this turn? There was really no point in doing any of that. All you had to do was play Phantom Troop, enter Showdown, and then literally just resolve a Lumi and call it a day. It's game over. Was he not at Central London? Oh, he was at Phantom Hive, so there is a Fate happening. Still, why would you play this out all the way? I definitely thought he was at Central London, but he actually does get a Fate here. But there's no point in fading here, is the other thing. Oh, wait, no, he was at Central London. Wait, what just happened there? Did he just move his mover wrong? Okay, so he is Fate locked, so I was right. Even if he did have a Fate action here, like, come on. No, he was at Phantom Hive. Yeah, because he did the kill last turn. Yeah, he's going to Funeral Parlor. That's why I was acting like he was Fate locked, is because why would you go to Central London here just to get a Fate that does nothing? You're going to see the demonic play. Doesn't actually get the token here, I think, which is kind of funny. It's going to be 11 strength if he uses demonic. He has to not use demonic to get the strict discipline. Yep, and then that's game. I got so confused on where the Sebastian was there. You know what I was thinking? I was thinking it was Fate locked because in my brain you have to go to Funeral Parlor, otherwise you lose anyway because you have to get the thing. But also, why did you play out this entire turn? But anyways, good game overall. Quite unlucky for Dragonfly that getting no Delicious Souls or Phantom Hives until the bottom 10 cards is basically Sebastian's worst situation. There's also some pretty well-timed Angelas and 4-strengthers in there. Joker's ability actually did things, stuff like that. All right. Next game up is going to be me getting a message. Do I need to look at this? No, I don't. I can look at that later. Next game, that was Divitae's win, so Dragonfly is still the starting player, I believe. Which means Dragonfly has to ban first. And Dragonfly is going to think about it very heartily. The ban will be Crollo. Does not want to go up against Crollo again. And it's going to be another Toguro ban. So this time Divitae has to pick first, and then Dragonfly gets to counterpick. I just completely blanked for a second there. Anyways, Divitae is going to pick Griffith, very popular villain to be picking to get counterpicked on these days. Griffith and Loxus are two of the big go-tos. Aizen. I don't know about this. I don't know how this matchup goes. Aizen matchups are stupid. I don't think it's much of a secret. I'm not a huge Aizen fan in general. Which just goes to show that we don't let our biases on the QA team stop us from putting out villains. Because even though I'm not a big fan of Aizen, he still made it through. Aizen going first is pretty nice for him. It's hard to ever determine how an Aizen matchup is going to go because a lot of Aizen just comes down to how early does he get Rukia or not. Theoretically, I think this should be a bit of a better... We're going to see Divitae take the mulligan. Should be a bit of a better matchup overall for Aizen, because even if he's a little late getting Rukia, that's fine, because as long as he... Griffith is weakest at the mid-game, so that's when Aizen wants to... They didn't like that clock. That's when Aizen has hopefully hit Rukia and wants to just start cleaving through his heroes before the opponent can start burying him in Fates while in Showdown. That would be my assumption. We are going to see the Soul Society turn 1. Turn 1 Kyoka Suigetsu is pretty nice for Aizen. Well, yeah, putting Casca at Tower of Rebirth is the right call here, because if Griffith wants to go Clash Casca, his turn has to suck. If you get Casca off rip like this against Griffith, always put Casca at Tower of Rebirth instead of Battlefield. If you put it at Battlefield, Griffith gets to go to Battlefield, gain a power, play any card that costs 2 or less, potentially even a challenge that won't give him minus strength until the end of turn, and then punch Casca in the same breath. Immediate Ichigo is quite annoying. The only way Ichigo is going to die is Hado number 90, really. We're going to see the Karakura Town once the discard action. Going to throw out a fake death for free and then shuffle back in that, I think it was a Bankai. Or it might have been a Gosai 13. It was one of the effects. Then using Kyoka Suigetsu to look at the top 2, putting 1 on the bottom, leaving the other on top. I think Dragonfly is one of the people who refuses to play 5th Division. We are going to see the Tower of Rebirth turn here, playing a challenge that doesn't weaken you or buff Casca. There are only 3 challenges you can play in Clash into Casca, I think. Because one of the challenges will give Casca more strength. One of the challenges will make Griffith weaker during clashes. Is it just 2, actually? Maybe? Oh, and then there's one that makes it where you can't defeat heroes. So if you play any of those 3 challenges, you can't Clash Casca here. And he has one of the ones that doesn't do that. Alone only weakens your allies. So he does get to Clash Casca and gets a -1 for playing alone at the end of the turn. Opens back up Tower of Rebirth, which Dragonfly now needs to cover again to stop that very strong top gain 3. We're going to see Fate here, and it's going to be rescued and Jide. Again, you probably just put Jido on the Tower of Rebirth here because he is clashable at Battlefield. Aizen, as long as the opponent... The only thing Aizen cares about... No, I wouldn't put it at Marsh. If you're not going to put it at Tower of Rebirth, at least put him at Battlefield. But Aizen doesn't really care about getting fated unless the fate hits Rukia. We're going to see a Vizard into Uryu, so no Rukia, but gains 2 power. A complete Hypnosis that hits 2 is pretty worthwhile. Anytime you get more than 1 is very nice. And then I assume we're going to see a Kyoka Suigetsu at the end of turn. Yeah, Aizen doesn't really mind too much about getting faded. Obviously, his Karakura Town and Huecamundo getting covered is pretty bad for him in general. Any of these locations getting covered is bad. Covering this one means that your discard doesn't have a play anymore. Covering this one means that your gain 3 doesn't have a discard anymore because he likes to discard. And covering Soul Society means you're not getting an extra 1 power at the start of every turn. Or not 1 power at the start of every turn. I'm thinking of Poneglyph. Not getting 1 power every time you go to your bottom fate. Why did I say it like that? That was stupid of me. They paused the timer for some reason? Did something happen? Hold up, I got a message. Oh, connection issues, apparently. Let's see if they just resolve themselves quickly, or if I might have to do a jump cut. No, I think we're good. It looks like we're good. All right, good stuff, good stuff. They're going to see a Battlefield turn from Griffith here. Going to play another Demon Horde. I was about to say, honestly, I would just get rid of Alone here. I would get rid of Alone immediately so that you have a target for... Did you multi-fate that? Why'd you multi-fate that? Am I crazy? We are going to see the fake death trigger and get Alone out of here. I think getting rid of Alone immediately is worthwhile. You can shuffle it back in with Vivid Nightmares. Alone is one of the weaker challenges for Griffith. It's one of the easier ones to overcome, and it doesn't affect you very much because Alone is only ever really relevant, like, a decent ways into Showdown, because you don't really want to be, even if you have the option to do Vanquish actions, you don't really want to be doing Vanquish actions over, the only time you really want to be doing is with Idea of Evil's Will, and because you want to be using your challenges to get your strength back, and you want to be using, we're going to see that get shuffled back in with the central play, and then some discarding. Griffith performs challenges in Showdown by either discarding a challenge or playing Idea of Evil's Will. You probably would rather use Idea of Evil's Will to weaken someone to help get rid of Betrayed, or just to have them weaker in general, and the challenges you would rather discard to get your strength back up, because you want to get back to 4+ strength as Griffith as fast as possible once you're in Showdown. Which means Alone is one of the weakest challenges, so I think getting rid of it early to potentially be able to replay it again later is pretty good. Gonna see a Bankai and a Gotai here. I would definitely do the Gotai, because Ishigo is already Hado bait anyway. Yeah, it's a bad hand. Probably gonna go use Hado on a Ishigo, honestly. We will see the Central 46 trigger. And we're just gonna see Orihime and Mayuri friggin' die. This is a good opportunity to kill Ishigo at Huecamundo. But it is gonna go to Soul Society instead. I mean, as Aizen, you want to take every Fate action you possibly can. Pippin is killable at Battlefield, but you do know that Alone is gone already, so this is the same situation. Now that Griffith is at -1 at least, it's the same situation as Casca, so I would play Pippin to Battlefield here, to be honest. There are only 2 potential challenges that Divitae could have in hand out of 5 that would allow him to both play a challenge and punch Pippin. Divitae could go to Battlefield and punch Pippin and just play Brand, but If that ends up being Divitae's entire turn, I would let that be Divitae's entire turn, personally. Gonna play Gin here without a whatever it's called, instead of killing Ichigo with Hado. I don't play a lot of Aizen. I don't honestly know what the best play is. I just know what I would have done. We are gonna see him go to Battlefield here, and he does have Abandoned, which is one that he couldn't play while clashing Pippin. Getting Gotai and Bankai again. I just keep putting Complete Hypnosis back in, brother. You'll catch, as long as he doesn't have 5th Division out, you will catch Rukia before he does if he doesn't cover Battlefield. And if I were Divitae, I would be using Marsh next turn to dig for whatever it is I'm thinking of. To dig for, whatchamacallit? The effect that lets you fate. Brand of Sacrifice. Discarding, and then just some Kyoka Suigetsu there. Are we having connection issues again? The timer has stopped again? What keeps happening with the... Oh, someone just had to step away for a second. Okay. So we're probably going to have a short break here. And I will be right back with this game for you guys in just a moment. Okay, and we should be back. I think we're going to see the timer turn back on. There we go. We are going to see Divitae go over to Marsh. Another challenge. Another challenge. There's Guilty. So no more clashing is going to be happening. I mean, Abandoned pretty much already said that. But definitely Abandoned plus Guilty. There will be no more clashing from Griffith. As soon as Abandoned is played, Griffith has given up on clashing until Showdown. Did pull Rukia here. Doesn't even have to use Rukia to, like, replay... Ichigo can just play Byakuya because there's no 5th Division out. Honestly, I could have seen putting Byakuya at Soul Society to block the gain 1 there and move... When I wouldn't move Gin. In that case, I would leave him. You're going to see Rickard and Gaston. This is a really good time to get Gaston. A lot of potential for Gaston to get some strength buffs. We're going to see a Betrayal thrown out. Throw back in I was about to say a bad effect, but definitely threw back in Rukia. And then we will see a Kyoka Suigetsu turn. One card is going on the bottom. Both cards are going on the bottom. So one of these cards could be Rukia, and Dragonfly is betting on Divitae doing some fading, or neither of them. They could be heroes that aren't Rukia. That one is definitely an effect if it's going on top. Or it could be Rukia. It's an effect of Rukia. I think this deck is like 3 effects and 2 heroes or something right now. We are not going to see a Battlefield Brand Fate turn. We're just going to see a Demon Horn thrown out over at Mercenary Camp. Another challenge, perhaps? Nope, going to be My Castle. Very good timing for My Castle. What is Dragonfly going to do? Not gain 3 power at Hookamundo? that would set him back pretty poorly. It's good to go ahead and get a minus on Jado. Jado and that Camaraderie are staying in the game until the very end at this point. We are going to see card Kuratown to have Gin kill Byakuya. I'm not so sure about that. Do you not have a Hypnosis in hand? Gain 2 is just as good as the gain 3 here. That'll be a -2 on both of them, or a -1 on both of them, I meant. Gonna throw out a Central. At this point, I think you probably don't bother fading Aizen. He's gonna shuffle that in and then use Kyoka, presumably. Well, no, you should still be fading Aizen here because he's basically set up to where he didn't use Kyoka. You definitely fade if he didn't use Kyoka. You might actually grab Rukia. We are going to see Betrayed here and an immediate Betrayed discard, which is very, very good for Griffith. Yeah, I didn't see a sword there, so if you pull Rukia here, that's going to really set Dragonfly back like a lot. And it means that Central 46 will be worthless. You're basically taking a 50. It's not a 50-50. It's less in your favor. It's Renji and Urahara. Well, you get to kill the Central 46 here, which is actually pretty nice. So that doesn't actually trigger, and then Betrayed goes away. High odds of getting Rukia here. I think this might only be Rukia in effects. I think it's guaranteed. And you take a Demise here. What are you going to do? You're going to slant it at a Demon Horde? Even if you don't hit a challenge, you'll hit something. Did not hit a challenge. You kill Slan. This hand is awful. You kill Slan. Kill Slan, and it's a do-nothing hand. He's going to go to Battlefield and Fate, probably. He might even go to Tower of Rebirth just to discard his hand. Airgate into Tosin must not have had the, whatchamacallit. He's going to Kyoka Suigetsu. He kind of has to. I think it's Rukia in all effects. So he needs to make sure he sets it up to where Rukia is at the bottom of the Fate deck. There might be one more hero in here. I'm not sure. But either way, you, with that awful hand that Divitae has, you go to Battlefield and you brand to Fate. Because even though you're not going to hit Rukia, if Dragonfly does this right. Oh, is it like, what is it? Is it like Rukia plus a hero? If it's Rukia plus a hero, then you put the hero that isn't Rukia at the very bottom, and you put Rukia on top of that. And then that means there are like 2 effects or whatever on top, or 2 things that aren't Rukia. Unless I'm misremembering this. If this is 3 heroes, then that's really bad for Dragonfly. But if it's 2 effects and a hero plus Rukia, then it's fine. But Divitae still wants to... Oh, okay. I was going to say Divitae still wants to Fate here just for the sake of making sure that Aizen gets less power. I'm not sure why Divitae wouldn't take a Battlefield turn here. It's very strange. 5th Division? Do you still not have complete... Are all of the complete Hypnosises in the discard? Has he just been really unlucky drawing into his last one or something? Yeah, so we're going to see a good Tower of Rebirth turn here. You're going to play the Brand for 1. That lets you gain 3. And then are you playing Eclipse? Oh, it does get rid of Abandon, actually. Yeah, it's pretty good then. I wasn't thinking about getting rid of Abandon so early. It's a pretty good play. I respect it. and then just hard discarding. You need to draw, what have you got, Tempted or one other option? Or just drawing into Vivid Nightmares to put back in Alone. I think Alone would be a really good one to do here. Or Betrayed could be pretty easy to get rid of. There's Rukia. This is, what's this fate? I want to see what this fate is. No, you don't multi here. You full fate. Casca's in the discard. You full fate. Double Sanity. Ooh, that Double Sanity it has not been good fates for Dragonfly in this semifinals. Not getting a hero there is really rough. Or even getting Demise of a Dream. My headset just turned off on me. Why'd you do that? It's something with TTS. My headset likes to turn itself off when the only thing I have running is TTS, because I guess TTS is so quiet and so often doesn't even have noise that my headset assumes it should just not be on. Because there's no noise anyway. Challenge? Even if it's Tempted, you play it here. Ubik into Challenge, even better. It is Tempted, unfortunately. Tempted sucks. Yeah, you full fate here. Oh, you have to multi, actually, because it's 5th Division. 5th Division is out, so you don't get a choice anyway. Does get Kenpachi regardless. Kenpachi on Lost Notice is killer. Yeah, I think Dragonfly is... It's not impossible. Griffith doesn't get into Showdown until a turn after this, but Griffith probably just goes to Mercenary Camp this coming turn, gains 2, and then ends turn to get rid of Tempted before the reshuffle. That's what I would do. Have a little bit of a power bank and get Tempted out, so that way you have 5 challenges in rotation once you move to Marsh. Rescued is already passed, so there's not going to be a rescued delay. Just go to Hueca Mundo and gain 3 and hopefully play something worthwhile, but this is looking mighty. Gonna go to Las Noches, actually. Airgate into Ally. Airgate into Ally. Okoira is a good one to get there. Okoira, when you have all of your other allies coming up, is really useful. I don't think I would pay a power for Kyoka. There's no point in paying a power for Kyoka. You should invade here. Did he pay? Maybe I just missed him clicking down his stuff at the right order. Doesn't matter. Got them all in there. It doesn't matter how these split up. Divitae picks the one with 4. You always just pick the one with more heroes because it takes eyes in a while to kill. Ooh, Toshiro and Uryu in the 4. Yeah, Renji and Toshiro. I might put Toshiro at here. I don't really like this. Urahara has already got Karakura locked down. I don't like not putting another hero on the top fate. I also don't like the 3 strengther being the one at yeah, just gain 2 in turn. Good turn. That's how Griffith plays. I don't like just the 3 strengther holding down the gain 1 move, because this gain 1 move is deceptively important. The only thing that stops Aizen from winning now is power and play it cards. It's kind of similar to Gendo in that respect. Like, he has plenty of kill tools, plenty of allies. He's got his Hagoku form, he's got his Shun pose, etc., etc. Hado number 90. The only thing stopping him from winning is power, really. We are going to see a multi-fate here and gets Corcus. Honestly, covering Marsh is really worthwhile, but I might have full-fated and tried to Hail Mary getting Corcus, Pippin, Jidou here, because that's the only thing that can really slow down Griffith at this point. You're going to see Femto, and I think they still had, I was about to say they still had Empty, yeah. Oh, you definitely should have full... Is there a Demise of a Dream in here? I don't remember if there's a Demise of a Dream in here, but if there was a Demise of a Dream in here, you should have full-faded. Because if you had hit Empty there, hitting Empty there might have been, like, the only Hail Mary that would have really done it for you. What is happening here? Oh, was a Vivid Nightmares played, and then instead of searching the deck, you did that for some reason? Yeah, it was a Vivid Nightmare. Why did you do it like that? Vizard. Again, something that involves power that keeps Eisen from winning. It's actually really funny. He can Shumpo out of 5th Division if he's at Las Noches to hit Renji, which is really funny. You gotta go to Hokomundo here. I mean, you could go to Las Noches if you have like a good ally play or something, but like you need power. That's just how Eisen is. He craves power desperately. Divitae was checking the discard pile over there. That's what that magnifying glass was. Guilty is out, which means all of these heroes have +1 more strength. I think that Gaston should actually not be at -1 now because of the Corcus play, but I don't think they realize that. Hopefully that doesn't come into play. Dragonfly is going to gain 3 and just straight up end his turn, apparently. We are going to see Mercenary Camp here, get rid of Alone to get up to 3 strength. I don't think the Gaston thing is going to matter. Throwing out White Falcon for a net gain of 1 power, if it even triggers. Yeah, they realize Gaston should have gotten buffed from Corcus. You have to be going to the bottom fate every other turn as Eisen. You have to. You full fate here no matter what. You need to pull Casca. You need to get Guts out, and then you need to get Casca. And then you want, like, Pippin. Like, multi... If this is Demise and Guts like I think it is, you just full fate. You did multi-fate, and it is Guts. Put him on the top fate. Even if Ubik is there, you put him on the top fate. Gaston is clashable if Divitae has Idea of Evil's Will or a challenge in hand. Which is why I prefer Guts at Battlefield, because the only way Eisen can even potentially dig himself out of these heroes fast enough is if he's not getting hit by back-to-back fates ever. Oh no, Corcus is out, so you still got 1 more turn before Gaston is killable. But even still, I would have preferred whatchamacallit there. We're going to see a Conrad into killing Corcus. So actually, Gaston was killable with like Conrad or Idea of Evil's Will plus a challenge, plus both of them. Singular Fate, because 5th Division is still out, gets a Bonkai. I would move Ishigo. I would move Ishigo into Karakura Town, probably. No, I'd put him at the top fate. I'd move him into Las Noches. Because I think an 8 strength Ichigo threatening Ulkoira, who's a very important ally in general. Even though he's not very useful against these two specifically. He's good against like all other heroes, more or less. I think that would have been more damaging, personally. But also, it's hard to imagine Divitae throwing this. Gaston is super killable now. So Divitae is going to get to go to Battlefield, maybe play a brand, even to Fate while doing it, and kill Gaston, get him out of there before he can... a brand turn to kill Gaston and move Ubik into Guts would actually be really useful. It'd be a very strong turn. You're going to see the -2 on Kenpachi, which puts him at 3. Then Divitae's turn will end. It's not, like, impossible that Dragonfly could do something here, but I just sincerely doubt it. We are going to see the Shumpo to kill Kenpachi or Renji. It's going to be Kenpachi. Gets rid of 5th Division. And then that's his turn. He needs to open that top fate to potentially have enough pressure here. We are going to see the Tempted discard Do you have a brand? A brand here is, like, horrifying. Horrifying for Dragonfly. It's going to be a Vivid Nightmares, actually, just to gain 2. That getting the power here instead of... He would have only had 1 challenge to target anyway. Getting the power here is most important because you can threaten game with, like, some Void nonsense very easily. Going to see a full fate. It was a demise. He should have been full fating those turns. He didn't full fate, I think. Gets Corcus back, but unfortunately there's no one here to really help Corcus be useful. Because even if you pull Pippin at this point, we could see Guilty discarded at Marsh this turn, potentially, but I wouldn't even bother getting rid of Guilty, to be honest. I'd save that power for playing Void and Slan, and Ideas of Evil's Will. I could see getting rid of Guilty if you have a My Castle, because then you just, like, My Castle Guts while getting rid of the Guilty. Puts him down into very low health range. The only possible way I see Dragonfly bringing this back is if he can open Las Noches and just jump Fates, but even then I don't think so. He's too low on power. He's too low on power to afford to jump between his 2 Fate locations nonstop and also deal with these 4 heroes in the center. Yeah, I really think that Bonkaiing Ichigo, that 1 turn that he didn't onto Las Noches, would have done a lot. 8 strength Ichigo that's, like, threatening Ulkoira from anyone else being killed instead. Sadly, I don't think we're going to be getting a game 2. It's still possible. Anything can happen. But Casca is almost dead on arrival. If Guilty is discarded, or if Griffith gets 1 more challenge discard and uses it for strength instead of a Vanquish, which at this point I would, just so that you always threaten Casca being dead in, like, every situation. It also means that a Camaraderie onto Corcus doesn't keep Corcus alive. So I would go ahead and get to 6 strength at this point, to be honest. Throwing out a Demon Horde. Will we see the Guilty? Interested that you'd get rid of Idea of Evil's Will here. It's one of your cards that says kill Guts. Double Gotai. Also surprised you'd get rid of Brand. Probably Neutra. Stops the Las Noches on cover. Didn't get rid of Guilty. I think the power is better suited for Void. I would have kept the Brand, honestly. Tower of Rebirth, Brand into killing Jado, assuming you get something to get to 6 strength, because Jado is at 6 right now, or you have a strength loss card for the second play as a result of using Brand. Especially if you have, like, Eclipse or something. Eclipse would go pretty crazy. We are going to see the Hotto 90 on Ichigo. And then that'll be that. He's going to go to Battlefield here. So Corcus is dying. And it will be Void. Void plus Demon Horde. That's not enough strength, though. Throw out another ally. I'd throw out another Demon Horde, to be honest. Yeah, Slan's fine. I'd put Slan at Jado potentially here, to be honest. Yeah. You can't kill him here because of Guilty and also Corcus, but, you know. Then just going to Clash Guts and call it, or Corcus and call it a day. This is potentially game on board. I think there's some combination of cards that could do it. We are going to see Casca. I think you may as well put her on Battlefield. Well, yeah, it might be better to put her at Tower of Rebirth with Slan being out in Jado and all that, but... Because Jado is still 6 strength, so outside of Femto getting another strength here, still won't immediately die. I don't think a Camaraderie on Guts is going to do anything. Because presumably you're not going to get to Fate next turn, because I think another hero is going to be put on Las Noches. Which means you're going to get fated at Marsh as Divitae tries to set up a potential game. Yeah, covering Battlefield, stops going back to Battlefield next turn and moving someone else into Guts. We are going to see a complete Hypnosis, Bankai, Kenpachi. Kenpachi's a really good hit there, and 3 power is desperately what Dragonfly needs at the moment. Divitae's going to go over to Marsh. Will be a gain 1 Eclipse. It is going to be Eclipse. So it's going to be -2 on Casca, -3 on Guts, and -3 on Jado, so they're all dead as heck. Yeah, so you basically, if your hand isn't if you don't have a challenge, the only cards you should keep in hand right now are Ceaseless Torture, a challenge, unless it's Betrayed. I'd probably discard Betrayed, just to be safe. Well, no, I'd use Betrayed right here to get a kill. Yeah, there goes Guts. So this is game on board. Divitae wins by going to Battlefield and playing any card that does a Vanquish. And it will be Byakuya moving out Ulquoira as well. Yeah, this should be game. There's no way to open Las Noches in this board state that I'm aware of. I say as someone who barely plays Aizen. I didn't realize Coyote got played. It doesn't really matter, though. If Divitae drew any card that is a challenge, is Idea of Evil's Will, or gets a challenge like Ceaseless Torture, and potentially with 5 allies out, you could definitely get it off of Demonic Visitation as well. The odds are, we're going to see a Hollow King using Ulquoira to kill Uryu and using the ability of Ulquoira to get rid of Sezazazaza, whatever his name is, Cezalaporo, whatever, to keep Ulquoira around. Probably just looking to kill as many people as he can before he loses here. It's very likely that the Divitae has game on board. Very, very, very likely. It's just going to be another Hollow King to have Coyote kill Rukia. Yeah. Idea of Evil's Will for the Vanquish, and then Class Casca. That's game. Yeah, it took Aizen too long to get Rukia. Aizen needed to get Rukia at least 2 turns earlier, maybe 3, then maybe he could have opened Las Noches fast enough to get more pressure. I think that he made a bit of an error in multi-fading when it was like Corcus plus Guts plus Demise of a Dream. I think he wouldn't have hit the Demise of a Dream on that turn, that first turn he multi-faded, where he could have potentially hit Empty to delay Divitae by at least like 2 more turns before hitting Showdown. So that one didn't really matter, but I still think it was wrong to keep multi-fading there instead of hard fading overall. So, but anyway, he got Rukia late, so there wasn't a whole lot that he could do, to be honest, in that regard. That's how Aizen works. But yeah, that is going to be game for Divitae, a 2-0 victory. So let's go take a look at the bracket and see how the finals have shook out. And so as you can see, Divitae wins and moves on to the finals to face D. Gessner in one last bout for this year's crown. Dragonfly, unfortunately, has lost, but he's not completely out because he does have a 3rd place match against Oscape to see who takes the coveted bronze trophy this year. So a bronze medal, do they still do trophies for that? I think you only get a medal at that point, I'm pretty sure, but no matter what, it just means he gets a plaque in the mod for our purposes. But yeah, so the next match we'll see will be Dragonfly versus Oscape for that 3rd place battle to see which one of them takes the bronze medal. And after that, we'll have the finals between D. Gessner and Divitae to see who wins this year's tournament arc. Really looking forward to it. I hope all of you are as well. And I'll see you next time for the 3rd place match. Until then, farewell.